Following up on the dinner tonight, you mentioned this is not a White House dinner, but the president is always the president, and the Trump family is making money off of this. So can you just explain, how is this not the president using the office to enrich himself?
Mary, I can't explain it because that's exactly what this is. I mean, just imagine for a second that Joe Biden or Barack Obama said, you know what? I'm going to go have dinner with 200 donors, many of them from other countries, and they're going to pay millions of dollars to an outside business that makes me and my family a whole lot richer. And by the way, not even going to tell you who they are. But don't worry, it's fine because I'm not on the clock. Imagine the field day Republicans would have with that one.
Donald Trump's administration isn't just the most corrupt in history, it's the most blatantly corrupt. And they do it for a reason. They take bribes, they take planes, they run scams, all in the public eye because they think if they do, we'll just accept it. If they're doing it in public, most people won't view it as that bad. That is their thinking, except on one issue, and that is Donald Trump's crypto dinner, which the White House works so hard to keep as secret as possible. But it didn't go that way with a leaked video of Trump which exposes a level of criminality that the White House is trying to deny that we are going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, there is a lot of breaking news around this crypto dinner, but I think some of the most important came from Jessica Tarlov on Fox right here.
Hold on, let me get him on the phone. Josh?
Tell him I loved his op-ed. And Greg mentioned a staggering level of corruption. And I just got a note that the staggering level of corruption from last night's meme coin dinner.
That's what you're focusing on, the meme coin.
No, 40% of Donald Trump's wealth has been accumulated since he became president because of 2 crypto coins. The New York Times did interviews with foreign buyers of this cryptocurrency who came over here to have dinner with him. A guy from South Korea.
This is not even part of the segment.
So what?
You're talking about a meme coin.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about who's corrupt and who is profiting off the American office.
Did he try to cover that up? I don't think so.
Yeah, Carolyn Levitt said
you're defending an administration that covered up a dying leader, and you're sitting here going, but meme coin, meme coin.
I'm saying billions.
All right, let's give Paul a chance to clean it up real quick. Paul, final thoughts.
Clean on my side of the street.
All right, all I'm going to say is,
in just a couple of months, Donald Trump has generated what is now 40% of his net worth off of 2 scam crypto coins. And he is now pumping them up even more with the White House dinner we just saw for the 200 biggest buyers, the people giving the most directly to Donald Trump. Because as we have gone over in past videos, it's not just that Donald Trump owns big portions of these coins. So like a stock, when they go up in value, so does the value of his coin that he owns. He owns lots of them, but he also owns the platform in which they are sold on the stable coin as well. So when Donald Trump has and encourages more people to buy his coin, he is getting transaction fees in cash. So it's not just that 40% of his net worth is made up on what he has made in the value of these coins, but also the cold hard cash he is getting from making people buy them. It is shocking levels of corruption. It's the reason Carolyn Levitt was trying to deny something that came out in this leaked video. I want to hear what she had to say right here.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Garrett, go ahead.
Carolyn, you guys are very proud of your record on transparency. I have 2 transparency-related questions for you.
Sure.
On the president's dinner tonight, will the White House commit to making a list of the attendees public so people can see who's paying for that kind of access to the president?
Well, as you know, Garrett, this question has been raised with the president. I have also addressed the dinner tonight. The president is attending it in his personal time. It is not a White House dinner. It's not taking place here at the White House, but certainly I can raise that question and try to get you an answer for it.
Okay, and on the Qatari aircraft, the Air Force has said they're going to classify all the information about the work that has to get done to bring it up to snuff to be Air Force One. Previous Air Force One contracts, including the one that the president entered into in 2018, are public. That's available knowledge. Will the White House commit to releasing who's doing that work and the cost of that work? I understand that some elements might be classified about specific systems, but will you commit to releasing that basic information so people can see ultimately what this costs?
Well, Garrett, as you know, that's that's a question for the Department of Defense and the United States Air Force, who is accepting this jet as part of their fleet.
Declassify anything he wants.
Well, you'll have to ask the Department of Defense and the United States Air Force, who is accepting this jet as part of its fleet. Peter.
So, first of all, denying that this is corrupt, that this is just Donald Trump having some fun in a cool industry is levels of cognitive dissonance that you can only experience if you're Carolyn Levitt. If you are Carolyn Cognitive Dissonance, love it. Like, that is her new name on this show. This is shocking propaganda and lying. But the important takeaway, the worst lie that Levitt told, was that Donald Trump is doing this in his personal capacity, which is a new legal theory. I guess you get to stop being president when you want. Sometimes you're just hanging out. What? That doesn't make any sense. But that lie is so much worse. And there is so much panic coming out of the White House over this leaked video because of what is included that shows how much of a lie that is. Just take a listen and take a look at what Donald Trump said in a leaked video from this dinner.
The country is doing really well. We have no inflation. Costs are way down. Oil just was at $1.99, $1.98 a gallon, which you haven't seen in years.
So first of all, he is talking about his administration. Second of all, he is praising the work that they have done to boost the crypto industry. By the way, a lot of corruption involved. We could talk about that forever. But third of all, he is standing in front of the presidential seal. Presidential seal, Donald Trump. So he is in his presidential capacity. You can't say that this is a personal event. This is a clear violation of the Hatch Act. This isn't some ethical concerns. Donald Trump is breaking the law and did by hosting this dinner. And that very clearly shows it. Also, he sounds stupid, doesn't he? He never knows what he's talking about with crypto. The funny thing is, Donald Trump views it as idiotic as it is. He has said many times before that Bitcoin, all of this stuff is just a scam, which is the reason why he now loves it so much, because its entire life is one big scam. That is what this is about. It is just about the grift. Donald Trump has figured out that directing people to go stay at his hotels or, chip into a presidential library, that's just a couple mil here and there. But if he wants to grift billions of dollars, which he has from the White House, it's coming in the form of crypto. We are seeing U.S. and foreign companies buy his stable coin again, which he gets a transaction fee off of, not just the increase in the value of the other crypto coin, but a direct hit of cold hard cash. I can't even begin to understand how this is not the biggest story all the time. It is insane in direct levels of corruption. They're not trying to hide it. They tried to hide that, but it is not working. Carolyn Levitt is not very good at her job, and that is exactly what Jen Psaki had to say. And a new bit that she's doing, I really like, where she's playing Carolyn Levitt's role. You'll just have to take a look.
Well, there was another White House briefing today, so I figured, why not? It's like riding a bike. I'm going to go try to answer as many of the questions as I can, but with the actual truth. Okay, we're going to start with NBC's Garrett Haake.
On the president's dinner tonight, will the White House commit to making a list of the attendees public so people can see who's paying for that kind of access to the president?
Garrett, we would all love to see that list. Of course the White House isn't going to release it, though, the list of who's attending the dinner, because they don't want anyone to know who's paying for access to the president and paying to make Trump and his sons richer. We do know a few things, and I've talked about a little bit of it, like people like $6 million banana guy Justin's son and a hacker named Ogle were reportedly on the guest list, if that gives you a sense of the clientele there. We also know that a majority of the attendees who are getting VIP access, by the way, are likely individuals operating from outside the United States. So we know some, we'll learn more, but yeah, I wouldn't be hitting refresh for that list. Okay, Mary Bruce from ABC News.
Following up on the dinner tonight, you mentioned this is not a White House dinner, but the president is always the president, and the Trump family is making money off of this. So can you just explain, how is this not the president using the office to enrich himself?
Mary, I can't explain it because that's exactly what this is. I mean, just imagine for a second that Joe Biden or Barack Obama said, you know what? I'm going to go have dinner with 200 donors, many of them from other countries, and they're going to pay millions of dollars to an outside business that makes me and my family a whole lot richer. And by the way, not even going to tell you who they are. But don't worry, it's fine because I'm not on the clock. Imagine the field day Republicans would have with that one. Okay, next up, Yamiche Alcindor from NBC News.
The president showed a video that he said showed more than 1,000 burial sites of white South Africans that he said were murdered. We know that that was not true and that the video wasn't showing that. So I wonder, why did the president choose to show that?
What's not true, Yamiche?
It's not true that the video was showing a burial site, that it's unsubstantiated, that that's the case.
Well, first of all, Yamiche, you're right. That was not true. I mean, according to local news reports, the video was a compilation of protests against the violence that all farmers face, regardless of skin color. But Trump became, we think, obsessed with this false narrative of white genocide after seeing a Fox News segment on it back in 2018. And then that obsession only grew once his best buddy and huge donor, Elon Musk, basically moved into the White House. Musk is also obsessed with this completely disproven and totally offensive claim. So to go back to your question, I guess, I mean, why did Trump show it? Because it's a white supremacist dog whistle, and because his friend Elon Musk probably asked him to. Okay, next. How about Mike Carter from Newsmax?
You had two Republicans last night that voted against him, Massey and Davidson. Does the president think that they should be primary?
I mean, what do you think, Mike? Of course he does. They opposed him. I'm sure it's being communicated, or already has been communicated to them, that they have a chance to make it up to him by supporting the final bill. And if not, then Trump, probably Musk, and the rest of the MAGA machine will all do their best to support primary opponents to make a point. Though I would say, though, Mike, since you asked me a political question, the politics is probably harder for vulnerable members who actually voted for it and are not even trying to explain their vote. I'm looking at you, Mike Lawler, and a couple others. Okay, I'm told the next question is from Jillian Michaels, of all people, from The Biggest Loser fame. Jillian.
As a Maha mom yourself, how do you interpret the significance of this report in terms of delivering measurable health improvements for Americans and their kids, and what specific actions does the administration plan to take in response to it?
Well, Jillian, that one was definitely made for Caroline and not me. But since you gave me the opportunity, that was a 72-page report put together by the Maha Commission, which includes such distinguished health experts as, wait for it, RFK Jr., Linda McMahon, and Stephen Miller. And while they do identify a real problem with children's health, their proposed solutions are deeply devoid of things that matter, like, say, science and data and facts. Meanwhile, they are defunding and getting rid of the very programs that would actually help.
Again, this is just staggering levels of corruption. And I think it is important to point out that not only is Trump exploiting these coins, exploiting the presidency, all the corruption around his own crypto holdings, that is bad. But the cryptocurrency industry, the deregulated mess that it is also bad. Cryptocurrency is an environmental catastrophe. It is nothing. These are nothings. They exist on servers and in the cloud, but that doesn't mean anything. It's fake money, but it costs more electricity than any other activity on the planet. It is destroying our environment for the purpose of enriching scammers like Donald Trump and hiding illegal activity. It is used by governments seeking to illegally buy and build nuclear weapons, gangs that Donald Trump claims to care about going after, cartels. They use cryptocurrency, the biggest crime operations in the world, to cover up their activity. And now, the biggest criminal operation in the world, Donald Trump, is going all in. We have to call this out. It is terrifying. We're going to be calling it out on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.